your attention.
Make some noise!
This is
Swerve.
Motivating teens to take a positive route.
Let's get rerouted.
Send again with your man Frank for Reals.
Everybody go crazy. Y'all want to hear something a little different right now?
You're now listening to the sounds of Swerve.
It's about to go down.
What's good, Swerve Nation? What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the gateway to the hottest music and real talk radio. This is your man, Frank for Reals, and as always, we like to come to you with those who are working in our community, with our youth, doing things and making things happen, the movers and the shakers. And so I have a young lady on the line with me that I've had the chance to do media work for, photography, and I wanted to get her on the line to talk more about her organization, who she is and what she do, and how she's finding success with these teens and these young adults. And so, Swerve Nation, y'all make welcome Tocorro Harris. Thank you, sis, for joining me.
Yes, sir. I am glad to be with you today. How are you?
I'm doing very well. Thank you so much. And so before we go any further, just want you to open up and just let people know more about you, any fun things about you that you enjoy doing. But before we get into the business side and then the more serious and steady side of things, what's some of the fun things about you, where you're from, and just let us know more about you.
All right. My name is Tocorro, and I am born and raised in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Just to share one important fun thing about me is that I am a travel guru. I love to travel. I love people. I love experimenting new things, and I am a big foodie. I love food, different types of food. When I travel, I love to experience different types of food.
Okay.
So that is me.
What's your favorite food? You have a favorite type?
I can't really say that I have a favorite type, but I will say that I do love seafood and I love Italian food.
There you go. Okay, that's me all day. Awesome.
Yes.
Okay. So now again, you and I, we connected by way of, I believe it's called Your Timeless Vacation Travels. It's a youth organization there in Spartanburg. So talk to us about what that organization is and what is your why, and maybe some of the biggest myths about working with teens.
Well, with our organization, of course, we do like a lot of mentoring and education within our organization. Really trying to open kids up to new ideas, new exposures, new experiences. And we do that through travel.
Okay.
Our slogan is show us the world and we'll stay away from the streets. So what we try to do is, take kids on different excursions, expose them to different things, because a child can only, dream as much as they can believe. So just putting that little belief and showing them that it's other things out here other than the small surrounding that some of them may just get from their community.
Yeah, that's true. And so what is your why behind doing this? Like you yourself, is it something that the lack of experience perhaps when you were 18, poured back into what you did not have or see, or is it just something that you just saw that was necessary in the community?
Well, for one, the passion for me to travel. I've always been exposed and wanted to travel. It was just something that I've always done. But I will tell you, when I founded the organization in 2019, it was founded for a very special reason, and that is my daughter. I have a daughter.
Okay.
Her name is Shadeja, and she's 25 years old. But when she was in high school, we were just talking. We actually was on like a little mother-daughter trip. We were on a cruise. And while we were on the cruise, just to make the story short, one thing that she told me that she appreciated about me is that I'd always taken her on vacations and showed her different things. And she was just grateful to be able to travel, as a toddler, as a youth, as a teen.
Yeah.
And she travels a lot now, even without me. So when we got off the cruise, we sort of made a commitment to each other, and we was like, you know what, when we get back home, we're going to start a nonprofit organization for kids, for those that don't always get to travel and don't always get these experience, so that we can help them and show them different parts of the world that hopefully they'll appreciate.
Wow, that is so good. Okay, so your daughter, she is hands-on involved with it, or was just inspiring for the idea of getting the travel program going?
She is definitely hands-on. She
That's
is
what's
our
up.
secretary, and she is a huge
Okay.
mentor because she can relate very well to some of the young teens, the young girls in the group.
Very good.
So it goes a long way.
Okay, very good, very good. I remember coming across a quote. I may mess it up, but it was something like traveling exposes teens to new cultures, it builds lifelong independence, and it transforms their worldview. And I love that because I remember I was 18 and 19 going into the Navy. May not be the same as traveling, but it was experiencing a new culture. I went from Greenville, South Carolina, small country, all the way over to Japan. So you talk about a culture shock. And for me being a teen and to be able to get out of my world, the small little world, for me, I thought all the world was Greenville, South Carolina. There's a
That's
whole
right.
nother world, a whole nother culture, more people, more experiences to attach yourself to. And it's really reshaped my life as an adult right now. It kind of gets you away of prejudices, the ickies when it comes to touching different people. You get well connected with different culture and people and how to do life. And so I commend you for what you're doing. I've seen you in action and I've seen how you engage around the teens and they love you. And I commend you for that.
Thank you, thank you.
Abs-
It's definitely an honor.
Mhm.
I couldn't do it, without the kids wanting the exposure and wanting to be a part, and definitely the parents that, ensure that their kids show up.
That's good.
It's not always easy because sometimes, the ones who we want to have it the most, the ones who need it the most, those are the ones sometimes that don't always show up.
Mhm.
But we don't stop there.
Right,
We
yeah.
try to make means to reach out to them. We approach them, we encourage them. And these opportunities that we offer is like minimum charge to free. So it's like they're not really paying anything to do any of this. We have fundraisers, we get out in the community. We do a huge thing with community service because I also want to instill in them that everything is not always handed to you.
Yeah.
And also that other people are in need. Sometimes we think that our situation or our household is just at the worst of what it could possibly be.
Wow.
But when I take them out and we are feeding the homeless,
Yes.
and some of them are like, why are they just laying on the ground,
Yeah.
with their blanket? And I'm like, baby, that's their home.
Yeah. Mhm.
That's where they live. So your situation can always be worse, but to them, it is a real eye opener, and they get to see hands on when we do these community service events around that.
Yeah.
It is people experience different parts of life from the bottom, up into the top.
That's good.
So
Yeah.
it is a good eye opener for them.
Yeah, good deal. Oh, okay. So now we're going to take a quick break. Before we do that, if there's someone listening and they want to know how to get involved with your organization, how can they reach you? And are you actively looking for volunteers?
Yes, we are always looking for volunteers. We have multiple yearly events that we host. We can always use volunteers when we are doing fundraiser events, just different type of events. We do a yearly back to school giveaway. We do a yearly teen youth explosion. All of those events, we're always looking for people to come out and help and support, and even mentoring with kids. People have different stories that they can tell that can touch these kids. Some things that we, the ones who are, within the organization, may not have experienced, that some of these kids could be experiencing as well.
Okay.
So we always welcome that in the conversation. My contact number is 864-707-8118. Again, that's 864-707-8118. You can check out our website at tvtyouthorg.com. And again, that's TVT for Timeless Vacation Travel, youthorg.com. And we're also on Facebook and Instagram as Timeless Vacation Travels Youth Organization.
All right. I love it. Okay. So stay locked and loaded. We're going to come right back in just a few minutes. We have some more questions that we want to get answered. And so Swerve Nation, stay locked and loaded. We'll be right back in just a few. This is your man, Frank for Reals, and y'all swerve.
You're listening to Swerve.
motivating teens to take a positive route.
All right, Swerve Nation, welcome back. Welcome back to the gateway to the hottest music and Real Talk Radio. We're on the line with Tocorro Harris of Timeless Vacation Travels Youth Organization in Spartanburg, South Carolina. Welcome to the conversation, sis, and thank you so much for joining us.
Yes, sir. Glad to be a part of it. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, yep. So another question I wanted to ask you, being a youth leader, myself, being in youth ministry, this is something my senior pastor, when I was young and didn't know why teens were drawn to me, they would just flock to me, and I did not understand it. It was a little scary, and it showed that I had a bigger responsibility. So talk about your engagement with teens and how are you able to draw them out of the shell?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, and what we have to realize is nowadays, we're so used to how things used to be and how we were raised, and when you in grandpa house and things like that. But the kids now have so much access to social media and music and all of these things that they listen to, and it really, it shapes their mental, it shapes the way they think, it shapes the way they respond, the way they dress, the way they act. And so, and peer pressure, bullying, peer pressure, all of that in school goes into speaking and mentoring these kids. And I will say the biggest thing, and what we have to realize as adults, and sometimes it's hard because sometimes it's hard for me, but we have to meet the child where they are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we have to meet them at their level. We can't, go in all, high and expecting all of these expectations out of them that they may not, have been exposed to, or they may not fully understand, or they may not have.
Yeah.
So we have to meet them where they at and exactly where they are in their life.
Mm-hmm.
We take that and we work to shape that.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, let me ask you something on the very extreme end of this, because I had maybe one or two experiences where I had some teens launch out at me. One actually punched me in my stomach.
Wow.
But what it did, it allowed me to tap into a bigger problem that was going on in that household.
Yes.
And so it didn't make me want to, retaliate or kick them out of the youth group. I began to ask questions, and I found out that the punch wasn't really the problem. That was like the pacifier. That was just the result of a bigger problem. So on the extreme of that, have there been any moments that you can remember where there's been like a really rough moment and you was like, yo, wait a minute, I may want to throw in the towel, but then you realized there was a greater need and you was able to kind of alter that situation?
Yes, it has been one or two situations like that, and
no details, no details.
no,
just,
I will not. I will not expose any details at all.
Yep.
But I will say that is a two-sided questions that we have to be, just be open and honest to both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've experienced that where, the individual was actually exposing and or trying to offer other kids in the organization things that should not have been going on, should not been doing at that young age.
Yeah.
And so, trying to help them, trying to develop and, speak to the parent about them and let them know what happened and what took place. You have to have the parent buy in too, to try to fix that situation.
Yeah.
Because I'm only going to spend a couple of hours a month with your child. And if they're with you most of the time and you're still allowing them to, do these things and act out and show these behaviors, it's like every time that I get with them, I'm starting over. It's like a reset. And it's not really giving up, but you have to think all of these other kids that I have to protect.
Okay. Good deal. Yeah, yeah. That's it right there. That's
I
it
have
right
to
there.
protect. I got so many other kids, but do I
Yeah.
want to see this child go? No,
Yeah.
I don't want to see them go. But I want the parent or the adult or the guardian. I need their support in helping me shape the child to make better choices, to think differently, to make
Yeah.
better decisions. Because I can't have them bleed onto the kids that I've already got a grasp
That's
on.
good. Yeah, yeah. And see, and you said something earlier about community. So you do need the help of the parents, the grandparents, the auntie. And I found out that they working with youth, especially in the youth ministry. I need you. I need you as parents, as mom and dad, mom or dad, whoever you are, to be equally on board with me, with us, so that we can help your team.
That's exactly right. And we have a strong team that, we pour into these kids so much. We really do. Because we want to, see them transition from this youth teen age up into, life after high school.
Yeah.
We want them to go to college if they want to go to college. We help them. We want them to, if it's a trade that they want to do and college is not for them, we are there to support and help them. If they want to be entrepreneurs, barbers,
Yeah.
beauticians, we are here and available for all of those things, but we have to have the parents buy in and to support us in, shaping these kids and helping develop that mindset to where everybody wants to see their child be, to have that successful path in their life.
Now, do you guys ever have like a parent night or a parent meeting, like just for the parents to kind of pour into them, to give them information and help get them set up to buy into this program and to get the kids?
Well, always at the beginning of the year, we have like a parent expectation meeting, questions, stuff like that for the parents to show up and stuff. And then when we have our events throughout the year that is open and welcoming to the parents, and at our latest event when we had our youth explosion, we made sure that we included the parents and the kids to the table talk discussions so that they could get feedback from the parents that was there, the other adults, whether it was their parents or other parents, also the educators that was at the event, so that they could get those conversations or get the questions asked.
Yeah.
And I will say, just to add on, another thing that is very important when you're working with the youth and organizations like this, because you have all different kinds of kids, and some kids, come from homes that, as that are not as privileged as others, but you have to be a safe space.
That's good.
They have to gain your trust.
Yeah.
So that's what we have to do in the very beginning. We have to let them know that they can trust us. If they confide in us in anything, it's not going to go anywhere. They're not going to get in trouble if they tell us that they did this. And we, in some situations, depending on the severity and stuff of it, because some things that if you have to report depending on what it is, but if it's something that they don't want us to, tell their parents, especially if at that time, we have to keep that trust. If we don't show them that they can trust us, they're going to always go back to what I would say as the streets, or go back to other people that does not have good intentions for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. This was good stuff, and I absolutely love it. We're going to have to take another music break. But again, I just want to commend you for the work that you're doing. You have my support and prayer for the support of the community. And so when we come back, we're going to get your information once more as to how someone can volunteer with you. But stay locked and loaded. We're going to be right back after this music break in just a few.
You're listening to Swerve, motivating teens to take a positive route. Let's get rerouted.
Welcome back, Swerve Nation, to the gateway to the hottest music in Real Talk Radio. This is your man, Frank For Reals, and thank you all for taking time to join us. We pray that you're enjoying the conversation that we're having with Ms. Tocorro Harris. Thank you again for joining us and giving us good conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
All right. And so, again, your business organization is Timeless Vacation Travels Youth Organization. You get these kids out of the city. They're traveling. I think you guys just had a trip to DC, I think it was.
Yes, sir. That was our end of year trip. Yep.
That's good. I love that. So one of the questions I want to ask you, and I had this question, I had the experience before. What do you think is the hardest part of being a teenager today? And how does that understanding influence your approach to working with them?
I honestly think the hardest part, we can always go back to it, is just, for one, is peer pressure, but for two, and I think this may be more important, it's the access that they have to so much stuff. They have access to like drugs and alcohol. And if you think back, like in the day, like we just never had as much access that the kids have for all of these substances and stuff nowadays. And then mental health is really, really big with kids in the community. And kids just, they don't know how to handle certain things, certain conversations. And you don't know how one situation could shape a child's mental to where they feel like that, they want to go try some drugs, or they feel like that they want to commit suicide or something like this. And this stuff is so easily accessible to them. And I think that, that's a big part of it, that we have to be more mindful, even as adults and in our own household. Like medications, like a lot of people put their kids on medications and stuff, but that's because the schools say that they need this, or the schools say that they need that. But at an early age, we're already introducing our kids to substance abuse.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, that's a good perspective and a great way of seeing that. You was saying something earlier, we was talking about like problematic teens that may come into the fold. And I found out early on that the answer is not always putting them on the outside, getting rid of them.
That's the last thing. That's the last thing we want to do.
One thing I found out is like that teen that may come in and may be disruptive, they may talk a lot. I saw a gift in that teen, and I would give them like an assignment. Okay, so if you get here early enough, you can be responsible for maybe doing the announcements or maybe contacting, so I gave them a way to rechannel that energy.
That's right.
They're a busybody. That doesn't mean that they're a problem. That just means that we need to redirect all that energy and that focus and give them an assignment, because for the most part, I learned that these teens, they love to have responsibility, if you give that to them.
They do.
Yep. So Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Well, I wanted to ask you, what specifically motivates you to work with our teens, and how do you handle the emotional fatigue? Because the fatigue sets in, but how do you handle the fatigue or maybe the tiredness that comes in with this line of work? That encouragement, encouraging yourself to keep going, what is that self-talk you give to yourself?
It's, for one, it's passion. It's so many times that I have wanted to give up, not that I did not want to do it, or honestly, it wasn't because of that one child that, had behavior issues or things like that. A lot of times is that you pour into it so much, you're so passionate, and you give all you have, and people ask and they want these type of things for their kids. They beg and plead, for something positive for kids to do. And then when you do it, they don't show up.
Wow.
They don't show up. So that right there is heartbreaking for me.
Yep.
But what I have learned and what I have to keep telling myself, keep praying about, for one, for whatever reason, God will not let me quit. That's first and foremost. I have tried. I promise you that. I have tried. God will not let me, for whatever reason, quit. And so I keep going. But also I've learned that if it's 5 kids that show up or 50 kids that show up, those 5 kids that showed up, I pour into them like it's those 50 or 500.
Yes, ma'am.
The lesson, the mentoring, the event, whatever it is, it's the same, because those kids that showed up were meant to be there for whatever reason.
Wow, that's good. Very good. Very good. Yeah. So that assignment just never changes.
It never changes.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, so one more time, if you can just give out your contact information, a way people can contact you if they want understanding on how to even talk to their talk to their teen, be poured back into, or to mentor or volunteer. What's the best way they can touch base with you?
Yes, you can. Also, you can join on our website. We have a subscription for news updates, so you can drop your email there and subscribe. Our website is tvtyouthorg.com. Again, that's TVT for Timeless Vacation Travel, youthorg.com. I accept phone calls, text messages all the time. You can reach me directly at 864-707-8118. Again, that's 864-707-8118. And then also on our social media platforms, which is Timeless Vacation Travels Youth Organization. And you can reach us both on Facebook and Instagram that way as well through an instant message.
All right. Very awesome. So let's get involved, everybody. This is a great platform to be involved in. And so we're going to take another break. And when we come back, we're just going to get some last minute words from you. And so Swerve Nation, y'all just stick around. We got one more segment coming up, and we'll be back with some more hot music. This is your man, Frank for Reals. Y'all swerve.
You're listening to Swerve, motivating teens to take a positive route. Let's get rerouted.
All right, Swerve Nation, welcome back. Welcome back to the gateway to the hottest music and Real Talk Radio. This is your man, Frank for Reals, and we are talking with Tocorro Harris. And again, the information here has been invaluable. Thank you. A million thank yous for what you're doing in the community and for just sharing some of that right here on Swerve. So thank you again. So as we get on out of here, I want you to just talk about anything that we didn't discuss. If there's anything near and dear to your heart that you want to talk to our teens about, family about, parents about, any last minute things you just want to get out there and share or even reiterate.
I think one thing that I do want to reiterate is, mental health. The kids' mental health these days, the youth, is so important. It's easy sometimes to brush off because things may not sound as important to us as adults than it do to the kids, but we have to learn how to take those moments just to stop. I know we work, some of us work multiple jobs, but we have to take a moment to stop and actually listen to what the kids are trying to tell us, because that thing that we may think is little, could be a huge impact to what's shaping our kids' mentality. And so I will say that just taking the time to listen and ask questions. If it doesn't make sense, just ask questions, but ask them, politely in a respectable manner. That's something that, I learned with my child. Even though I am her mother, I still have to, respect how she feel. I have to respect, her questions, me asking her questions. So she's been teaching me even into adulthood, how to respond to her, how to react to her. And I think that's very important. I'm not perfect. I'm still growing and learning in that way because, I grew up to, I'm your mom. I'm your mom. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what you think. I'm your mom. I'm your mom. But in today's time, we really, really have to stop and we have to listen and we have to give positive feedback and we have to give reassurance and stuff. And we want the kids to be the best that they can be. We don't want them to make that one little bitty mistake that could change their life forever. All it takes is a 1/10 of a second for them to make the wrong mistake or to, go out and hang around the wrong crowd out of frustration or anger or something, because life is all about choices. And you make one little minute wrong choice, it really can change their life forever. So just to the parents and stuff, just always listen, always, be open-minded, even though we don't agree with what they may be saying. Right. Even though we couldn't imagine, like, why would this make you feel some type of way? Why is this bothering you? If they're telling us that it's bothering them or it's doing something to them, then we should take heed of that, follow up with questions and get the proper, help, mental help or whatever it need to be so that, we can continue to have our kids go down the positive path.
This is some great information, a wealth of knowledge. And is there any teens or any persons on your team that you want to just give a shout out to, recognize before we get out of here?
Well, actually, my entire team is good. And I was going to say this early, and it sort of slipped my mind when we were discussing like giving the kids something to do, like the ones that are more busy and the ones that sort of, we have to put a little bit more attention on. And a big thing that we're going to do within our organization, and I think it's going to be huge, and it's going to allow them roles and responsibility. So shout out to the teams in our group because they are creating them a member council team.
Oh, all right.
So we'll have a president, a vice president, a secretary, a treasurer, where they all can, work. Their roles will be just as important and meaningful within the organization as ours are as leaders and mentors in the organization.
There you
So
go.
thank you to the entire team with that.
That's what's up. All right. Well, salute to everybody there. And prayerfully we'll be able to see you for your third annual. You've had 2 so far. So we're looking for a number 3. And
Yes.
we'll be looking to you to provide us with information on that so we can get people locked and loaded and volunteering
Yes.
on that one. So, okay. All right. Well,
And
thanks.
I want to thank you too. I want to thank you because you have, like you said, since day one, we have been locked in.
Mhm.
And for 3 straight years, you have showed up for me without hesitation.
Mhm.
So I am very, very grateful for you and your services. You pouring into our organization, pouring into me, believing in me.
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for it. You don't get a lot of people who genuinely wholeheartedly pour into people, strangers. We were strangers when we
Yeah.
met.
Yeah.
So I want you to know that I am grateful for you. I appreciate it, and thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I don't even know how we connected. I mean, somebody did something and I did something. And next thing you know, we're
And
making
that's
moves. So
that's exactly what it
that's
was.
right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, absolutely. I'm glad I've been able to partner with you. I believe in this and I believe in our teams. And so you have a leg up on things. And it's not because like you're making things happen. Like even if the teams were traveling or not traveling, I'm involved because you're involved in something that I'm equally passionate about, and I'm seeing these results. And we
Yes.
just have to get people involved with our teams, and I love when I come around and I see our teens just being kids.
That's right.
They're being
That is
teens,
right.
being telling them to act like us. We're loving them, like you said before. You're meeting them where they are, and we're escorting them into greatness, into greater. And so again, salute to you. And until next time I see you, sis, thank you for your work. Thank you for what you're doing. And thank you again for stopping by at Swerve.
Thank you. I appreciate you so much. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Okay. So Swerve Nation, we're going to make our way on out of here. But remember, whatever God has for you, it is never in your past. This is your man, Frank For Reals.